Social shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. There's some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only a few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Yo, people, what's going on, man? We're back in the building. Big up to everybody inside the building, whether you're here, whether you're on Twitter, whether you're watching this on the replay or whatever. My apologies, of course, I have been away for a hot minute. Just recuperating and all of that kind of good stuff. Just trying to, just chill. It's International Week as well. So I said, yeah, let's just vibes, man. Let's just vibes, you know what I mean? But of course, we're back here. I know Liverpool are playing this weekend. So I will be doing a preview for that maybe on the Friday morning, usual time. But we'll wait and see. But today we're here to talk about Thomas Tuchel, the man who has now become the new England manager. So Carsley, as we know, he was the interim manager, obviously taking over from Gareth Southgate while the FA obviously decided on who they were going to take over. I heard they did have talks with, Pep Guardiola. I'm sure managers like Graham Potter, Eddie Howe, these were other kind of managers who were in the mix for the job. But of course, Tuchel out of work, previously at Bayern Munich, of course, won the Bundesliga there with Bayern Munich. So he's the man that the FA, want to take England into this kind of, I was going to say new era, but I feel like we've started the era, already. Guys, I'm obviously joined this morning by Mr. Jerry Gaffer himself. Jerry, what are you saying, my bro, man? How are you this morning, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Obviously, big up to everyone. Make sure we're obviously smashing a like for the video. Early morning settings for a lot of people. But yeah, man, let's get into it, man. Obviously, big news for England. And yeah, we'll chop up.
No, of course, man. And it's funny, I was just chatting to Jerry backstage about some coaching and stuff like that. The coaching world is such an interesting, and it's obviously coincidental that we're here talking about, a coach at the highest level that you can probably think of in terms of managing, your national team, but also the fact that he's managed, other big clubs, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund, he's done the rounds, and he's got the trophies to kind of, show for that. Obviously, Fabrizio here, just kind of letting everybody know. Apparently, it's an 18-month contract. Now, before we, of course, dive into tactics and the manager, in itself, you guys can see that for those watching live right now and those watching on the replay, is it a case of perception versus reality? And we're going to touch on that in a second. But Jerry, just like your initial thoughts on obviously hearing that he's now the new England manager.
Good appointment, man. Good appointment. I didn't think England would be able to, I won't say coerce, but convince a manager to come to the England national team, because it's a poison chalice, man. No one's been able to do well. Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter if you wanted to play ball with Glenn Hoddle, whether you wanted to be defensive like Southgate, whether you wanted to be a foreigner that's won a lot. In Capello, then you had Goran Eriksson before that. No one's been able to do anything. So it's a big risk, in terms of if you're looking at it in terms of possibilities, in terms of what's happened, he's probably not going to do well in it. England, or he's not going to achieve what certain people are expecting him to achieve in terms of winning a major international final. But good appointment though, man. I think it's a very, very good appointment. The style of play is something I think we'll touch on it, but I think it's going to fit England down to a T. In terms of obviously it's been very, very intense. He's proven that no matter where he's gone, he's been able to go and deliver. So at Dortmund, he done well. I can't remember what he done. He was at PSG, but I can't remember what he did. But of course, went to Chelsea.
He won the league. He won the league quite a few times actually, I think.
So he won the league there. Obviously at Borussia Dortmund, he done as best as he could. Well, obviously Bayern Munich and Guardiola there, of course. Gone to Chelsea, won the Champions League. yeah, like, do you know what I mean? It looked positive for them. You then obviously saw him go to Bayern Munich and win as well, and obviously left due to obviously like a poor start or whatnot. But look, he is probably the best manager on the market that England could have got. So, I mean, there's no one else really. You were looking at what Carlsley, obviously hasn't got the credentials, with respect to what you think of him. Eddie Howe hasn't really got the credentials. Thomas Tuchel is probably the best in class you could get. So no complaints from that side. Whether it works, it remains to be seen, man.
Nah, man, 100%. And look, as Jerry said, man, you can see, you guys can obviously see this on Wikipedia. So you guys already, if you've done your research already. By the way, Alexander, no, obviously England have had Sven-Goran Eriksson, they've had Fabio Capello. I'm trying to think, is that the only foreign managers? Yeah, to my knowledge, from what I can remember.
Yeah, just Fabio and Sven.
Yeah, Fabio and Sven. Rest in peace to the man himself. But you can see, obviously, look, Tuchel at Borussia Dortmund, he won the DFB Pokal. PSG's won the Ligue A twice, Coupe de France, the Coupe de la Ligue, and the Trophy des Champs at Chelsea. Obviously, of course, winning that Champions League against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, UEFA Super Cup, FIFA Club World Cup. That's a good, you know what I mean? Good year that he had, you know, at Chelsea, winning all of those trophies. And of course, you know, players like Rudiger, who have now gone on, you know, to play for Real Madrid. Bayern Munich, of course, won that Bundesliga on that last day of the season. Dortmund kind of flopping it a little bit, if I'm being totally honest with you. But also as well, he did win the UEFA Men's Coach of the Year for that year that he had with Chelsea, winning the Champions League and stuff like that. He's won German Football Manager of the Year as well, the best FIFA football. Like, he's got the credentials. So what Jerry was saying there in regards to someone who fits, I guess, what people, the perception, and this is why I say we'll get to it, the perception that people have in regards to looking at managers in terms of, from what I see anyway, England fans, they seem to want, like, yeah, we need to have like Thomas Tuchel or Pep Guardiola or, you know, someone of that kind of ilk, because in their eyes, they believe that that's going to be the manager who's going to be able to take them, you know what I mean, take them forward, right? Which is fair. And of course, it kind of makes sense when you think about it in terms of the manager themselves. Jose Mourinho being another one that's been floated about throughout the years and, you know, things like that. But as Jerry will know, and I'm sure Jerry will probably tell you, it's not just as simple as, yeah, okay, yeah, because we've got this guy, this is going to happen. As we spoke about this the other day after England's defeat to Greece, and I did the match reaction, right? Me and Jerry, Savage, I think, I can't remember Savage there, but us three anyway, we were there and we were talking about, it's not just necessarily about the manager in terms of, let's say, the first team manager and what he wants to do. With England, I almost feel like, and Jerry explained this perfectly, so guys, make sure you go and watch it. It's not just about the first team and trying to figure out, okay, what's the best tactics? Because Lee Carsley, even though, yes, he was only interim, so I get it, but just look at his style of football, which is a lot more attacking, a lot more vibrant. People were like, you know, I see people talking about, yeah, we need to get Foden, Palmer, Jude Bellingham, Saka, Kane. We need to get all of them on the pitch. All right, well, he did that. And we didn't like the result. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, no one liked it because obviously we ended up losing the game. He tried something, it didn't work, fair enough, whatever. But people didn't like that. People didn't like Gareth Southgate, even though Gareth Southgate got us to a final in the Euros. You know, he's got us to semi-finals, quarter-finals against France. He's got us further than any other England manager, but nobody liked the football. So now we're in this kind of space when we're looking at a new manager for England. And I'm like, I don't think it's just as simple as, yeah, you get this manager and this is going to happen. Obviously, listen, it might work out that way, but we know with England, it is like a fundamental problem that they have had for years. This is not new. England have, when we had Fabio Capello, people were looking at Capello because this guy had managed Real Madrid and, you know, Italian and all of this kind of stuff. We thought, this guy's going to come in and do the madness. Sven-Goran Eriksson managing at Lazio, winning, you know, playing, managing all these other clubs prior to coming to managing for England. He was also seen at that period of time as, yo, this guy, foreign manager, he's got the credentials, not as big as like a Tuchel, but he's got the credentials around Europe. So him coming to England to manage this group of players, surely this is going to work. And I just feel like we're in this kind of space. I don't know about you, Jerry, but I just feel like we're in this space where it's like, is it the perception that we feel that if we just get a top class coach, it's going to work? Or is there some sense of reality that we need to just keep ourselves in check in terms of, yo, like it's not just about the manager. You know what I mean? If that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
think no, 100%. I think there's some truth to that. 100%. I think there's an
Big ups to you.
idea. There's an idea, and it's a bit simplistic, but you know, there's some truth to it that, you know, oh yeah, you get a better manager and you get better results, and of course that could work. And look,
Mhm.
again, he's got the credentials. He's worked with the players, so in terms of managing egos and everything like that, and what he's won. Do you know what I mean? Some of the English players in that team haven't won near enough. Some have won more, of course, but there's some players in that whole squad that have won nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like sort of Cole Palmer, Gibbs White, Angel Gomez, that's there, Gahey at the moment. They haven't won anything. So you're coming now and going into an arena where you're with a top class manager. So of course that's probably going to help. The problem you have with that though is, and obviously England probably done their due diligence and they feel like, look, he is the guy. But you need someone that is going to be able to, as you said, not only look at the first team, but try and transform the FA as a whole. The best example to use in respects to that is, for me, is Klopp and what he done at Liverpool. Klopp's job wasn't only about transforming the first team like that. That's I mean that was like, I mean that's part of the job, but it was transforming the culture at the club, transforming the way they operate, their mentality, the belief system, the whole from non-believers to believers, or whatever, or from hopers to believers, whatever that saying was. I mean, man,
That was to believers. That was to believers.
that was the believers. There we go, bro. The manager's not been gone for 2 seconds. I'm already forgetting his phrases.
Jerry
You
didn't
know,
give a
like,
fuck about Klopp, boy. He said, "Come on, man. You know that guy, that Donny over there, man. Just that doubter guy.
exactly, the dire guy, man. But yeah, but obviously he was able to go and do that, change the culture. You saw the types of players that came through the academy, being able to obviously sell them on and play for. Do you know what I mean? Have careers in football, not necessarily playing for the first team, but to have careers and then do what Liverpool are able to go and do. That's what someone needs to do with the FA currently, because if you want to go and inspire like a culture of winning, it's got to start again from the bottom up, not the top down. And you have to be able to marry in, and Southgate done that to a certain extent, marry what the youth level are doing, and plan. It's not only for the first team to do well, it's for the next generation and for the squad in 5-10 years time to be able to go and do well after that. So you have to put certain things in place. Now that's what Tuchel's going to have to do, innit? Like, it's a big job. Again, we said it. No England manager has been successful in a lot of English players' eyes. Like, when you mention Southgate being successful, they're like, what do you mean he hasn't won anything? So by that, no, if you don't win anything, he's never going to be successful. And no manager's won anything since what, 1960, whatever, 1966. So I don't know what he's gonna. Again, it's a massive job, man. It's a massive job to change the culture. Play a style of football that is attacking but also solid and that appeases to all the English fans and unites the English fans. And Southgate was able to go and do that. Obviously, they didn't win, but maybe Tuchel can be the one to take it to the next level, man. But yeah, it's going to be tough. It's not as easy as just getting a good manager in, and yeah, it's going to work now. There's still a lot of work to be done, in my opinion.
Nah, man, factual. I think literally just to kind of, I guess, piggyback off what of what Jerry was saying. Like, yeah, I just don't think it's just that simple. Not with England anyway. Not with England. I just think that where you've had this fundamental thing, or this kind of it's rooted in your. It's almost rooted in English psyche, you know, in terms of the mentality. 1966 was the last time you won a major tournament. So what Southgate did is going to be seen. If we looked at it like a football club, for example, you would look at it like Spurs. If Spurs were to win the League Cup, for example, like, you know, the lesser competition, if Spurs were to win a League Cup, do you know how massive that would be seen? Spurs get into the Champions League final against Liverpool. Do you know how massive it was seen? They didn't win it, but you know how massive it was. It showed a level of success under Pochettino, because you're talking about a club who haven't been to the promised land before, haven't been to a Champions League final, you know, haven't experienced these kind of nights. So in relative and context to that team, and obviously here talking about the national team, what Southgate did, as much as, listen, whether you like the football or don't like the football, that's up to you. That's not a problem. But the reality, he was technically the most successful manager most of us in our life. Obviously, the elder lot, fair enough, but even to be honest, I can't even think past like before the 90s. I can't really remember who was the managers and stuff like that. That's before my time. But even if you talk about like the Terry Venables and the Glenn Hoddles and stuff like that, where they get into semi-finals, finals, I don't remember. I think Terry Venables maybe got to a semi, but
Glenn
I
Hoddle
know
as well, I think, got to a semi, innit?
Glenn Hoddle, fair enough. But you know, like with obviously football's changed and with how football is now today and stuff like that, we saw our quote unquote golden generation, the Beckhams, the Gerrards, Lampard, Scholes, etc., Rios, and all of that. We saw all of these players fail time after time. But then, you know what, Jerry? Yeah, I must have been like, I think we were talking about something to do with like nostalgia and stuff like that. Yeah. And I remember sitting there thinking, you know what? Maybe I was a little bit too harsh on the golden, and I think everyone has been a little bit too harsh with the golden generation. Because remember, during England's golden generation, you still had Brazil, who had Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, Roberto Carlos, Cafu. You still had Italy, who had the likes of Cannavaro, Totti, Maldini, Buffon, Nesta. Like Germany with the Ballacs, the Schweinsteigers, and stuff like France. France, you can go through every generation, of France. Like, I feel like maybe I was being a bit too harsh to the golden generation in terms of the actual expectancy level of what I thought they should have achieved in terms of going out there. Well, I'm not saying that they shouldn't necessarily have won maybe one thing, but to say that like it was a complete failure, I don't know. Like, I don't know how you see it, but bro, all of them teams also had Don Dadas. Like, we're not talking bums. We're talking these are some of the greatest players in football history. Do you get? I'm trying to again. I don't know if you agree or disagree, in that kind of
No,
regards. But so,
I agree, bro. Like when you think of it, like I said, like I've said it before, like English players are like, irrespective of what we think, they are not that in the
yeah,
grand scheme of things. They are not that. They're good in their own right, 100%. They're good players. You're talking about like some of the best players to play the game, especially from an English perspective. But when you go and look at like, I don't know, like forwards, right? Yeah, you cool. England had Rooney. If you want to just let's go like the golden generation. They had Rooney, top ball. I think England's best ever player, right?
yeah,
But is he better than R9? Probably not. Is he? Is he better than who else was playing as a forward them times? Van Nistelrooy or that's when you start to like, oh well, he could, he couldn't, and it's not as easy as that. When you go and look at Rio, obviously a lot of people say the best English defender of all time, right? Or John Terry. Is he better than ex-defender Lucio? Is he better than
Maldini,
Maldini?
Lucio,
Lucio? Like, is he better than them? Then all right, cool. Left back was all time to some people. Is he better than Roberto Carlos? Is he better than Cannavaro, Maldini? If you want to play that, it starts to look a bit sketchy, and that's where it's like if there's room for debate, it means that you're not out and out the best team, right?
Yeah.
But so I agree with you. But on the flip side, and this is what I'm saying about the English job and how difficult it's going to be. It's like what you said about the Spursy thing. There's a certain mentality that comes with being able to win because it comes down to fine margins. When you looked at Liverpool, a lot of people would tell you on paper, City's midfield is better, Arsenal's midfield is better, even when they were finishing 8th. Tottenham's midfield is better than Liverpool's. This midfield, Chelsea's midfield is better than Liverpool's. When we faced Barcelona, their midfield was undoubtedly better than Liverpool's. Yet Liverpool was still able to go and win games and win stuff. We might have not won as much as you thought Liverpool should have won, but they were able to win stuff. And the reason why that was is because of a mentality, because it's the fine margins. Like there's an argument to say, oh yeah, well, who's better at the time? Busquets, like he went at his peak, but Busquets or Fabinho, of course, Busquets is historically the better player. But at the time, who's better? There's a debate for either. Some people are saying Fabinho's the best DM in the world at the time. Some people saying it will be Busquets or Rodri, whoever else it is. But there's a debate. At that point, there comes a thing where it's about the intangibles in football. Who's going to make the difference? And unfortunately, England are known for not having those intangibles or don't have it as a collective, because when the going gets tough, then they always falter, whether it's in the final, whether it's in the Euros, whether it's in the penalties, whether it's scoring a last-minute goal. Like, against Greece, you get an equalise and you get the goal. Why you should never be conceding that goal. You should just see out the draw. Well, we're not losing this game, though, but you lose the game. You go to Euros. What happens? You take penalties. You miss the penalties, and that happens. That's been historically. That's been an English problem historically. Losing against penalties. Losing against penalties. No matter what German team they've faced, Germany's always beat them on penalties. Why? Because they've just got a certain mentality. There's a psyche, and that's a massive part of football. How England are able to get that, I don't know, and that's a generational thing. When you looked at it, like, do you know what I mean? Was Rio the Don Dada like that? Was he the one like? Did he have that Bellingham? Did he have that Bellingham? Or you had a couple players in that generation that had that. Like you had Gerrard that had that. You had the certain players, but were they that in an England top though? Were they that in an England top? Rooney might have been that, but did Gerrard have it? Not really. Not really. Could he tell him? Did Lampard?
Hey, don't get the Liverpool fans onto you, bro.
No, but I'm gonna be honest about it. Like they failed as a collective, so they need to be held accountable as a collective.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're not good players, but I'm saying
Of course.
at that level, like, did you ever see Gerrard, Lampard, or Scholes or Rooney do anything that Zidane did against Brazil in the 2006 World Cup?
No.
We've never seen that. We've never, ever gone and seen that. The closest thing we've got to that type of aura, and it's mad to go and say, is that probably Bellingham at the moment. And if you're saying it's Bellingham, then you're like, bro, like, this is madness. Where he looks like every time he gets the ball or playing for England, he's like, I'm not done that. He plays with this like swagger about him. And that's that it's that intangible about him. That's why I rate him as a player. It's not like he's got unreal technical ability or unreal athleticism like we haven't seen.
No, he doesn't. He actually doesn't.
It's the intangibles. It's the intangibles. The fact that give me the ball. Give me the ball here. I'm coming to get the ball here. No, I'm bullying this guy off the ball. Move, man. I'm pushing you off the ball. Get off me. It's that's the type of personality that's going to enable you to win games in the long run, man. And England should struggle with that, and that's going to be a massive issue. So going back to your point, golden generation, cool. They're golden generation in terms of talent as a cohort, probably are. But then, are they the best of the best though, or have they got that intangible in those teams? Did you look at them and thought, yeah, those are the guys that are going to carry the team? Maybe you did. A lot of the time, I mean, maybe a one or two did. A lot of the time, they didn't. Innit? It was just one or two players that were able to, obviously, to maybe pull something out of the bag. But as a collective, they couldn't do it.
Nah, man. I fully. When Jerry started naming these names, the kind of I said, yeah, no. Like, and even the Van Nistelrooy, like we did that show last night on Enza's channel, and we're looking at like elite finishers, and we had to like rank them, etc., etc. Yeah, it's funny because in and amongst there's so many strikers that if you go throughout the year and midfielders and defenders that I almost feel like. Obviously, it's typical because we live in England, so obviously we're only going to really see it from an English kind of perspective. But sometimes I try, even though technically you can't really do it, but you try to take yourself out of that perspective of, okay, we live in England, so everything gets looked through the lens of an English fan, and in comparison to other nations, etc., etc. And sometimes I sit there and think, bro, if we really sat down. And if we really went through, we had to like go through, I don't know, a top 100 players or 200 players or whatever it is, you'd start to see, some of these English players that we like laud, and as we rightly should, because they are good players in their own right. You see, if you start putting in other nations, I promise you, these English players will start faltering down the list. Like seriously start faltering that to the point where we're gonna have to start saying, nah, but he was a defensive midfielder, or nah, he was a central. Forget all of that. If you're just talking a base list, no positions in terms of just who do you think was a better player in their own position in what they did, I promise you, some of these English players, they would be so far down that list, and it's not because that they're not good. I just think that the perception at that time was that we just felt like, these guys were, X, Y, and Z. And because one time Zidane said that Gerrard is this amazing player and da-da-da-da-da. Bro, do you really think Van cares when he's losing the ball against fucking Iniesta, Xavi, and Busquets and them, man, in the midfield? Do you think he's worried about what Gerrard is doing about his tough tackling and that? I don't think it works out, in the same kind of way. Not to disrespect Steven Gerrard, by the way, because obviously he was a baller and he's a baller in his own right. But yeah, I just think this whole golden generation thing, I do think that we kind of overplay it a little. Well, not overplay it because they were technically a golden generation, if you want to put a term on it. But I just think that sometimes let's just look at the whole context of everything first, and then you'll start to see, England weren't really the weren't really the bag of chips that we kind of thought, that they realistically was. But it is what it is. Big up Hakeem in the building, by the way. Big up Steve. Big up Red for Life. Big up ZX in the building. Sorry, I didn't say big up to you guys. Hope you're blessed. Just quickly before we move on to the next bit, I know Steve had a question here, and that actually goes on to what we're about to talk about. Do you think Tuchel sets up in a back 3 or 4? Jay, how do you kind of look at it for Tuchel? How do you kind of look at it tactically? Obviously, I know before you start, I was looking just before we came on at the systems and styles that he's used. So obviously, he's had the back 4, he's had the back 3. He defends sometimes in a 4-4-2. What people are kind of doing now, etc., etc. But how do you see it for Thomas Tuchel? Obviously, I know you might not be able to see it because I know you're driving, but on the screen here, I put it up. They've got it up as a 3-5-2. A 3-2-4-1. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends, isn't it? Like, obviously, I'm not driving anymore. I'm just getting in now. But no, it's one of those ones where it could be anything, and I think that's why they've gone with a Tuchel. Is that it's not going to be a set formation. They want someone that's a bit more malleable, and Tuchel's proven to be that. If you look at how he played at Dortmund, it's completely different to how he played at Chelsea. I mean, in the last kind of games when he was playing with a 3 at the back, at times, especially when he played against Liverpool as an example. So it's definitely, again, something that's going to be a bit more malleable. It's not going to be as simple as, this player is going to play here and this is all we can offer. I think there's a bit more nuance to it. But yeah, I mean, we could potentially set up like that. We could set up in a 3. Obviously, he's playing a 3 there. Earlier on, he played in a 4-2-3-1. It's just one of those ones where he's going to have to just look at what he's got in terms of a team and work with it. And I think that's going to be his biggest challenge, because obviously, as a club manager, you've got especially the teams he's played for recently, he's got the pick of the bunch. He's got the pick of the bunch. Like, oh yeah, I've got Mbappe there. Just saw it. You got flipping Kante and Jorginho and Mount, and you can go in at the time, and then you can go and sign a Lukaku if you want. And then at Dortmund, you've got who you've got. Now it's going to be completely different. At Bayern Munich, he's got the Canes and stuff. So he's got a team. Now he's going to have to just work with what he's got. And it's going to be interesting to see how he works with Gallagher or Henderson in the squad and Angel Gomez and this, because they're might not be of the level. So he might have to change from what he's doing. You might not see a back 3. It might be a back 5, a flat 5. It might be a 4-4-2 because of what he's got. And I think that's what they're looking for from a Tuchel perspective, in terms of how they set up. Not in terms of how they play, but how they set up.
There was one player actually I wanted to. Obviously, I'm just flicking through, guys, just so that you guys can kind of see on the screen in terms of the style of play. So this is obviously Tuchel, his tactics at the moment for PSG, out of possession, or OOP. That is for the Twitter guys, anyways. But yeah, just him in terms of how the teams kind of set up. You can see here Chelsea versus Liverpool during the COVID season. You can see the way, as Jerry mentioned there, the Mounts, these times Mount was looking like one baller in that midfield, boy. Like at that period of time, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't even mind, having I wouldn't have minded having that Mount that was under Tuchel at that period of time. The Mount that was getting double digits goals and assists. The Mount that, was like, you could play left wing, right wing, through the middle. Heck, if I need to put him in like left central midfield, I reckon he could have, just done that role, kind of calm. Obviously, that Mount kind of, died away a little bit. But you can see he is someone. I did read when he moved to Chelsea, I was reading like back them times as to what does he kind of like to do, like in training, and how do people like talk about him and stuff like that. And I remember reading something about, and again, Jerry's a coach, so he can tell us if this is a good little plan, right? Obviously, can't really compare to the top managers, but he was saying when he trains and they're doing like the small-sided games, or not even small-sided games, just like, let's just say 11v11, for example, he never uses like the full pitch. Like he kind of cuts the pitch in because he wants his teams to understand in terms of playing through the middle and then having those wide areas for, in this case, Callum Hudson-Odoi or Ziyech or a Reece James or a Chilwell to kind of, operate down that kind of flanks. And I was trying to think like, do you think that could potentially work for like in England? Obviously, Reece James, he's injured, but he could potentially be coming back whenever. You've got Trent Alexander-Arnold on that right-hand side, and you've got Carl Walker on that right-hand side. Rico Lewis, if you want to call him a right back, I have no idea what position he is, but he's also there, as well. But on that left side, and this isn't a Tuchel problem, who do you think, like, are there any left backs, should I say, that you're looking at this moment in time that could potentially help within this system? If there's any that you know out there.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know any left backs, bro. Any left
Bro,
backs.
I don't know either.
I
Tyreek Mitchell.
No. It's not gonna be.
Bro, he's playing Cole there anyway. Heck, he put Trent at Lee Carsley put Trent at left back the other day.
Yeah,
we're running out of left backs.
I mean, to be fair, that makes a lot of sense though. Playing like a Trent at left back, where he can come in field and invert onto his right foot, where he's taking a touch with his left, then able to spray passes. It makes theoretical sense. And when you saw it in the game, like, didn't he win player of the game in that game?
Yeah, he won man of the match. Yeah, he won man.
Exactly. So, like, at that point, this is what I'm saying. I think people in this country, especially, and I see it even at grassroots level, they're so bogged down with damn positions, bruv. It doesn't matter where you're playing. It's the game. It's how you're able to utilize what you have to the best of your ability to be successful. So it doesn't matter if at one point flipping Hudson-Odoi was a flipping number 10. Now he's playing out wide. It doesn't matter if Gini Wijnaldum was a 10 and he's playing in the 6 or in the DM. Doesn't matter. If it ends up with Liverpool or the team that you support, or England, for the case in point here, to win games, it doesn't matter. And you saw why that was effective. Now, if you go back to what's it called, the Euros, right?
Yeah.
Imagine having Trent there instead of Trippier.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it would have definitely been
like all of a sudden, the confidence that Trent was playing in going into the Euros as well probably makes a massive difference. Now, of course, certain things work, certain things don't work, but that is football. You're supposed to try things out. You're supposed to see how things work. No one thought Mascherano could play as a centre back until he played as a centre back. Then he played as a centre back and was calm, and they were winning the titles. Mascherano was a number 6. If you had done that, you're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you playing in there? But it doesn't matter. If flipping, do you know what I mean, Milner, it works as a left back, him playing as a left back, of course, he might want to go and play as a centre mid. But that season, it worked with him playing as a left back. So guess what? He was a left back. He was a left back. and that was it, brother. Like, that was it.
I was like, guess what? Hey, no, that sounded a joke. No, it's true. Listen. I don't like the whole position thing. But then Jerry's just gone there. I don't like the whole, position. Oh, let's put him back in. You good? You're on mute.
Cool.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, yeah, I don't really like all the whole position because of just how football kind of is, but also maybe there's a bit of bias because when I played football, more for grassroots than when, say, like academy and like schools and stuff like that, because in those kind of places, obviously, I guess you was more fitted. You played in this one position, and that was your one position. Whereas that's why I always say, bro, I love grassroots football because I just always felt like, yeah, I'm not really bogged down with like. Obviously, you got your position, but I'm not bogged down by it. Like, I'm not gonna stay in this one position. Like, obviously, that might have just been me, just the attitude-wise back then. But also, there was a little bit more flexibility. I do think, as Jerry said, with the way that people think now, as I said before about putting players into positions, instead of saying someone is a fantastic midfielder, we almost have to say, no, but he's a great defensive midfielder. But then when you start to then say, compare him to another midfielder, oh, no, you can't do. I'm like, bro, a midfielder is midfielder. Ultimately, the reality is where they actually play. Because, for example, you're not going to sit here and tell me that you didn't think Kante was a baller. Now tell me what Kante's position was. Because I've seen attacking midfield.
All right, G, for you, Iniesta, was he a left winger or a 10 or centre mid? Was he an 8, a number 10, or a left winger? Iniesta. What was he?
Honestly, I couldn't give you a position of what Iniesta was. I felt like.
What was he? Tell me. What was he, guys?
Like a.
Cool. Was Messi, forget recently, was Messi, right? A false 9 forward. Is he a number 10 or is he a right winger?
You'd have to, yeah. Sorry, I know but you'd have to say which era of Messi you're talking about in that Barcelona, because
But that's my point. You couldn't just be like, yeah, well, that's what he is, and that's all
yeah,
he is.
yeah, okay,
But
fair
brother,
enough.
all right, was Gerard a right mid? Was he a second striker? Was he a DM, or was he a number 8? Forget who you think
was,
where you think he was best, right? Because statistically, people always say, yeah, he's a great box-to-box midfielder, great. But then when Liverpool almost won the league, he was playing as a DM,
second
as a
striker.
quarterback,
Oh, that season,
Yeah,
sorry, 13-14, yeah.
the season where he had the most assists, he was playing as a right midfielder. He was playing off the right. And when him and Torres had that link up, he was playing as a second striker. So what is Gerrard? People just tell me he's
He's just a
midfielder.
midfielder, bro. He's just a midfielder.
Exactly.
He's just midfielder.
Exactly.
He's just
Exactly.
midfielder.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah. And I guess Iniesta is kind of the same. It's just like, we're just midfielder. But I guess it goes back to something that you mentioned actually on the stream the other day when you spoke about, or you guys were speaking about, like, game intelligence. Some players should just be kind of able to, not should, or maybe should, I don't know, but I guess how you see it as a coach, but they should be able to kind of, any system, if you're a good player, you can kind of fit that system. Obviously, the manager isn't asking you to play in goal. That's completely different than you being Haaland as a striker. I don't expect you to be then good in goal because of the different kind of attributes that you would need necessarily to have been a goalkeeper and to be a striker. But there are some obviously that interlock. But in general, I can't expect that from you. But if I'm saying you as a striker, and I don't know, I might need you to play right wing or vice versa kind of thing, I don't feel like there should be too much like, oh my goodness, he cannot play there. Like he is absolutely dog shit. I feel like good players can just kind of play kind of just anywhere. Philip Lahm was a left back / right back / DM / midfielder / whatever the hell you want to call him. Kimmich used to be a right back. Now he's a defensive midfielder, or midfielder if you want to call him that. Fabinho used to play right back, now then moved into obviously midfield. There's so many cases of players who just, I can play all these kind of positions. I'm not asking them to be A1 in every single position. There are going to be some positions where you're just naturally, because of your attributes, you're just stronger at. But there should be some level of flexibility, with top class players. That's why when you asked about Iniesta, I was like, I can't pick a position for Iniesta. Like, I don't know. The real answer is I don't know. Like, because really, I could say I saw the best Iniesta when he was playing left wing, if I'm being super honest. But then I've seen him in midfield, doing madness. I've seen him as a second striker. Heck, I remember I was watching games, old school, when Guillaume Balaguer and them man were doing the commentary and stuff like that, where he's playing false 9, and Messi is just somewhere else on the pitch. I haven't got a clue. He's just doing his own kind of thing. So yeah, other players can kind of just do their thing.
Another one. Ronaldo, is he a right winger, a striker, or a left winger?
He's just an attacker, bro. Go on, sorry.
No, but this is what I'm saying. When it comes to ball, this idea that, he's a position and this is where he has to go and play. It's like, no. You just need to get the best out of these players. So wherever in your system you've got, right? If for example, if I want to go, if the ball's going to spend half the time in the air and we're going to go long ball and that's my system, right? I might not want to go and play Iniesta in midfield because guess what? The ball's in the air, probably going to get beaten in the air by other midfielders, right? Because that's going to be the battle. I might want to go and play him out wide. But if we're playing in the pockets and we're playing on the ground, I might play him into centre mid because of how comfortable he is on the ball. So you have to look at the profile of player and how they can fit in, the profile player that you've got and how you can go and fit into how you can fit that into what you're trying to do. So Tuchel might look at it and be like, you know what? See Trent, brother, like he might have to be a right wing back. Heck, he might not even play because he's might not be the right profile player. But guess what? This player might play in midfield that you've never seen before, but you're like, okay, he's going to play in midfield now. Might be Foden playing as a deeper player because he thinks, Foden's really comfortable on the ball. If we can get him just used to getting onto the, I might say flexing my coaching badge. You make me sick, bro. You make me sick. Tyler Jones, you make me sick. But no, like if like, cool, we're trying to play on the ground, let's drop in. Like we want him to drop in and be in those pockets. He's probably one of the most comfortable players we've got to be able to go and do that. Yeah, and it might work. Heck, it might not work. But this is the role of a coach and a manager. What you've got at your disposal, right? Once the window's shut, is what you've got to make work, innit? It's what you've got to make work. So Gravenberch, great example. No one saw him as a 6 last season. No one saw him as a 6 last season. This season, he's the best 6 in the world, I'm hearing. He's you know what I mean. So
We said Ryan Seedorf and that. Yeah, I hear it.
I'm saying Hullet. I'm saying Hullet.
Bro, this is why I'm dreading the Liverpool like this weekend and stuff like that. But we'll get to it. But by the way, sorry, I have to mention this. I heard that Gravenberch stunk it up against freaking Germany the other day, boy. I see the gif. They even made it into a meme of when Florian Wirtz just quick shimmy, boy, and Gravenberch was left going one way, Wirtz was left going the other way. I see the meme floating around. I find it interesting that Liverpool fans haven't made any comments on that. But hey, listen, I'm just here to just point out the things that I see. Harry Kane, bro. Harold Kane. What do you do with a player like this? Because obviously, new manager, so things could be a lot different. But what we've seen recently, and I think I saw the stat. I can't find it now, but I saw it when England played against Greece, that he's been substituted in his last, I want to say 7 appearances or something like that, something along those kind of lines for England. Obviously, that's including, the Euros and stuff like that, right? But what do you do with him? Obviously, he's working with a manager that he's worked with before in Thomas Tuchel. This is his record with Tuchel, with Jose Mourinho, Pochettino, heck, even Ryan Mason's in there. He's got the best minutes to goal ratio with Thomas Tuchel. We saw the amount of goals that this Donny was getting. Whether you want to say that's just him, because he is obviously one of the best strikers in what, if not top 2 strikers in the world right now, or not, how do we get the best out of Harry, man? In your own opinion,
Play to his strengths.
What is that though?
I mean, it depends, innit? It depends what type of Harry you want. The Harry that we've seen for Bayern Munich is very different from the Harry you saw in his last couple of seasons, 3 seasons even for Spurs, when he was dropping in and playing those passes. He done that more for England, that kind of Spursy Kane or Tottenham Kane, than he did the Bayern Munich Kane. The reason is that the Bayern Munich Kane, the types of players that you've got, spreader, I don't want you dropping deep to come and get the ball. Just stay up there. Be disciplined. We're going to get the ball to you in those positions. You can get a load of goals. And of course, he's playing for Bayern Munich in the German league as well. So obviously, better team, easier league potentially, or easier or better dominance from the team he's playing for. So he's getting loads of goals. It varies, isn't it? Because if he comes into the England team with the players perform the way they are right now, it might be better off having Kane dropping in and spreading passes out to the wide players to go and get the goals instead. And he might not get as many goals, but he can still be equally as effective. So, look, he's a very, very good player. It's just, again, it's who's better. For me, it's who's better. Is a Kane better dropping deep, or is a Kane better scoring? 2 seconds, yeah? 2 seconds.
Yeah, no, man. That's a good question, man. That's a good question. I'm going to show you guys this just while Jerry's off doing that quick. So obviously, this is his record for Bayern Munich thus far. God, I've forgotten the clubs that he used to play for. Bloody hell, Norwich, Leyton Orient, Millwall. You know what I mean? Just that is crazy. Harry Kane, man was down in the digs, just playing for all of these clubs. Obviously, he was on loan there whilst he was at Tottenham Hotspur, on loan at Norwich City, Leicester City. I remember him actually on loan at Leicester. And I remember sitting there thinking, I remember, because I think at the time I was playing Championship Manager, I remember like Kane just being one of the players. I might have chosen Spurs at the time just to be another team. I remember sitting there thinking, this Harry Kane guy is shit. I think I ended up always selling him, like every single time, or even in the game, if I didn't choose Spurs, he would always be sold, because people just never thought that he would, amount to anything. But hey, listen, now we look at it and now we see that Harry Kane is one of the best, if not the best English striker, out there, that we've ever seen in this generation. Probably top 3, Shearers, the Rooneys and stuff like that. Like Owens thrown into the mix. He's definitely up there, and it's interesting to see. Steve saying Kane gonna continue to play as a 6 under Tuchel. Laugh my fucking ass off. Yeah, listen, if he keeps on doing that, I don't know, because I feel like the way that Bayern Munich played under Tuchel anyway, Kane was, bro, like it was just mad. It was just mad. Like the way what Kane was doing that last season anyway. Come on, bro. Like he was scoring a lot of goals, and he's obviously continued to do so, right? But just in general. And then it felt like when he got to England, again, obviously I know different team, different manager, different kind of set of tactics and stuff like that. But then it's like the manager's asking him to do something else. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't need Kane dropping, playing alongside the left back. Because the problem, I always felt like it was I always felt like it was always two negatives. Like, okay, Kane dropping deep, that's not a problem. But then you don't have runners because the players that you've got in Saka and whoever else used to play on the left wing, so Grealish or whoever, they weren't running in behind and they weren't filling the spaces. It would almost like you would try and get Bellingham to almost, fill into that gap, but it wasn't really working. So I was like, okay, but then what's the point of then Kane dropping deep then if he's going to just be picking up the ball with no one to hit up top? There were times when you would see the two wingers, so Saka and whoever the left winger was just there. The midfield, they're kind of bunched up together in, whether it's Rice, Bellingham, Mainu, Trent, or whoever, they're all botched up in there. Once they're in there, no one's forward though. So the centre backs are chilling because they know, you know what, my fullbacks have got these guys here, and obviously I can help to cover them, but we've got no one running through the middle. Then you've got someone like Foden who was just in no man's land. It was almost like, okay, where do I go in this whole, in this kind of setup? And it just never really made sense. So I used to always think for Bayern Munich, and again, you guys can obviously tell me whether I'm wrong or whatever, but from what I've seen of Bayern Munich under Tuchel anyway, Kane, yes, at times, yes, he would drop deep, but that was so few and far between because you've got the Kimmiches, the Goretzkas, and all of these other kind of various different players who are going to do those jobs for you. What Kane is there to do is link up play with the attackers. So with the wingers, with the Musialas, the Sanes, the Gnabry's, the Matista, all of these guys, he's linking up with those guys. 1-2. That's what Kane's doing. Give the ball to Musiala. Kane get in the box. Musiala put it into the box. Or Musiala do a skill, get down the line, put it into the box. Kane, you're there. Simple. Or Kane, you know what? If Musiala's doing whatever he's doing, or Sane's doing whatever he was doing, Kane, you just pull out to the edge of the box, and we'll cut it back for you. But guess what? We've then got other runners from other players. I just felt like it was a lot more in sync. Whereas with England, as I said before, like nothing was really working for me. Like you've got this guy dropping deep, no one up top. This guy up top, no one's able to pick up the ball and play it into him. So, bro, two negatives, man. Absolutely two negatives. I hear what you're saying, Dustin. Yeah, I hope he drops. I hear what you're saying. I don't even disagree with that too tough. I don't disagree. Because it all will just depend on how he sees the team playing, I think, moving forward. I just think that if he can play similarly to what he was kind of doing at Bayern Munich, then, I believe it could. I believe it could work. I believe it could work. Red for Life, you guys think Walker will play in the World Cup? He's getting old. Yeah, but I think Walker's attributes don't seem to really be declining. I don't see a decline in his attributes. I feel like he's the same player. If anything, I feel like he's even gotten, I don't want to say quicker, but I don't feel like the pace, like for someone his age, I don't look at Walker and think, man, this guy is slow. He's still burning a lot of people. Big up, John. Don't worry. I've still got that voice note. I just haven't had the time to sit down. It's a long voice note. So I will sit down after the stream and obviously tune in. Big up to your damn self, man. Guys, his link is in my description, by the way. So head on over to his page, his socials, to everything, and check him out. Not going to lie, if Mason G would have benched Kane right now, if it weren't for her, yeah. yeah. But he's not playing for Jamaica, I think. I'm sure he's declared to play for Jamaica. That's what I'm going to say. Not that pace. His passing during the Euros was not great, to put it lightly. Yeah, it wasn't. But again, that's not really his game. Yeah, are we going to sit here and say that, at Manchester City, he's famous for his passing? It's not really his game. His game is about, he's got recovery pace. He can get up and down the field. So that helps when Manchester City are trying to, play down the right-hand side. So whoever's on that right, whether it's Savinho now, Bernardo Silva before, Foden, whoever, Doku, I just feel like that's what he was there for. And especially in certain games when, you may have to concede. Sorry, you may potentially concede in the transition. bro, if you got one of the fastest players in world football in your team, bro, use that. Especially if you're up against the likes of Vinicius or, you know, Kylian Mbappe and, you know, all of these kind of guys, you're going to want to use that. You're going to want to use that. So, yeah, I feel like that's kind of what he would be there for. And as well, you know, he provides a threat. When you're that quick and can run in behind, that can be a problem for opposition. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I think, not you, by the way, Red for Life. I think people started to look at Kyle Walker, obviously, after that run against Adama Traore. They were like, nah, he's finished. I'm like, brother, I've seen Adama Traore give Virgil headache. Like, bro, and it's not because he's a dope player, but the guy is fast and strong. Like, that's a crazy combination to have. When I say strong, he's mad strong. So if he can give Virgil a headache, bro, like, I'm not looking at Kyle Walker differently. I'm like, bro, like, it's Adama Traore. Like, I don't know, the way people reacted to that, I was like, what, did you think that Adama Traore was slow? Come on, bro, that brother is stupidly quick.
Adama Traore, man, he's probably the fastest player I've ever seen in football. He's actually too fast. He's actually too fast. Like, you can see why, like, Barca, like, he's nowhere near like the Barca level, but he's so fast. They had to have him in there. It was like, this brother is so athletic. We have to have him in the team, brother. Like, we can't not have him in the team. And then, of course, you see what's doing him that. His pace is outrageous. He's too fast. It's honestly like, he's too fast to be able to even do anything with the ball. Where, you know, I sent you the clip. Yeah. He's getting coached. Guardiola's coaching him after a loss and all of that. Bear me 2 seconds, guys. Yeah.
No, it's calm. No, it's true. It's I guess with a player like that, I almost feel like with Adama Traore, I'm like, bro, you know what? You should just be like a wing back. Like, that should just be your position, where I'm not expecting you to do, like, obviously I get why you play in the position that he plays in now, right? For Fulham. I get it, because obviously on the attack it could really help. But he can't finish. He's technically not really there. I'm like, nah, bro, put him at wing back. Because you see him coming up against, I know obviously I'm not saying he's not a great defender or anything like that, but I almost feel like, listen, if Trent can make a living of not being a good defender, why can't he make a living of being, you know what I mean, an athletic defender? And he could just learn the rest, you know, over time. He won't ever be good, but he will just be able to learn it. Trevor was a cheat code, but he couldn't. Yeah, he is. Adama should have been a sprinter at the Olympics. Yeah, but he's making more money this way. Do you know what I mean? If you had to ask between a sprinter, like, unless you're Usain Bolt, and even then, I don't even know what Usain Bolt's money is even looking like at his peak. But I'm sure Usain Bolt, the player, or Usain Bolt, the sprinter, I feel like you'd have to choose football, bro. Like, there is no, not that there's no way, but I just don't feel like you're gonna choose sprinting over football. Like, bro, you're making like Adama Traore probably on like 40-50 grand a week. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, and he's not even one of the better players out there in football. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, man, it is what it is. All right, guys, probably gonna wrap it up there. I didn't want to stay too long anyhow. Let me just put this back up to normal. Yeah, I didn't want to stay for too long anyway. It was just to kind of really talk about, you know, Tuchel, the appointment, you know, how people are kind of seeing it, you know, the good points, the bad points, you know, what maybe he's got to do, what's the kind of perception for everybody. How are you guys looking at this whole appointment? What's the actual reality of the situation, you know, in terms of, you've got all of these quote unquote, you know, really, really good players. Does that then mean that, you got this quote unquote good players? One, are they actually really as good as we say they are? And two, what do you expect him to actually win? Or would you even expect him to actually do? Because people are saying, yeah, I saw like tweets and stuff, yeah, he's a knockout specialist and this, that, and the third. Okay. I honestly, I'm not saying he's not going to do well. I'm not saying he isn't going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's not going to go out there and win some stuff, but I am looking at the situation and thinking, I don't really feel like it's going to matter too tough, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Big up Tyler in the flipping building. Love for the damn super chat, man. Big supporter, man. I appreciate it every single time, man. Love for the super chat. Yeah, just before we head out, Jerry, your own expectations for Thomas Tuchel's, and it's only an 18-month contract, by the way. So at the moment,
yeah,
I don't know what tournament that would.
I would say to see a style of play that represents Premier League / English football, and by that I mean And the reason why I say that is because I think it will help the players a lot. Is being a team that's very direct, can hit you on the counter very hard, Klopp-esque almost. You know, people used to call Tuchel baby Klopp because he used to follow them around everywhere he wanted to be. And do you know what I mean? But it's that type of intense manager that can replicate what he's done at club level to a certain extent. And look, if you can go in 18 months, what tournament is there? What tournament's coming up? Can't be World Cup, can it?
Yeah, I feel like there's nothing else going. Hold on, I'll check now. I'll check right now.
Because if there's
in
World
my
Cup,
head, there's
then
nothing going on.
it can't be World Cup. World Cup's in 2 years, isn't it? 3 years?
Oh yeah, no, 2 years. No, 2 years. 2020 because it's at USA, right? Yeah, 2026 World Cup.
So he's still going to be manager.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've given him an 18-month contract.
So they're giving him basically a year, and then the last 6 months is the tournament.
Is the tournament
18 months? Yeah. So yeah, listen, I would say.
So one tournament basically he's got.
Yeah. So I'd say to embed his style of play, me personally anyway, to embed his style of play to be very, very dynamic and go far in the tournament. So England don't see necessarily regression, but the way they get into the semi-final or the way they get into a final, wherever that is in a more, I guess it's in a more idealistic or holistic approach from a football perspective, where it's like, oh yeah, we're playing football when we're being attacking, and if they can do the same thing that Southgate did whilst being a bit more forward thinking, then I think it'll be success for England. Because the idea that he's got to come in and win, if he does that, he's the best English manager in the 21st century. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening personally, in it. I don't. So for me, it's like, yeah, can you see a style of play that replicates and caters to the best qualities of the players that we've got? So do you see the best of a Harry Maguire? Do you see the best of a Saka? Do you see the best of a Harry Kane? Can you see that all marrying in and combining?
Oh, sorry, sorry to cut you. We've got the Nations League finals. That's next year.
Dead the Nations League final, man. Dead that, man.
I'm just telling you what they've got, bro.
Fuck the Nations League, man. It's morning as well. You talk to me about Nations League, bro. Who cares about? Do you think I know what Nations League is? I still think. I swear to you, it's a con. Nations League. I don't even know what the hell's going on. I'm seeing Liverpool. I'm seeing my country, Poland, topping the charts, brother, and then they come into your Euros in their pants, brother. I don't want to hear about Nations League, brother. I don't want to hear it. For me, it's worse than your Community Shield. So for me, yeah, we'll see. 18 months. Let's just see what you can do. If you can go and see it mad, high octane pressing from the front, winning the ball back. I think it'll be a good thing for England. But I think they'll do well. I like him as a manager, innit? I like him as a manager. So yeah, that's it. What about you, man?
I like him. But I think honestly, I don't actually care about England winning like because I feel like you always deserve what you get what you deserve, sorry, in my opinion, with trophies anyway. Individual matches is different. You don't always get what you deserve, but I feel like trophies, it's very rare that you win a trophy and you didn't deserve to win that trophy. Like I don't really see that. So I don't care about the trophies. It is more for me about style of play. Let me just see a style of play and let's just see what that looks like. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because I'm also here for the chaos. No one can chat shit to me now. If he stinks it up, as an example, what are we going to say now? Is it him? Is it the players? Because remember, guys, we've got the manager that you guys want. You want someone like him. He's reputable. He's won big trophies, Champions Leagues. He's a new age-ish kind of manager and stuff like that. So everyone's got what they want. So if he doesn't win anything, and England maybe get knocked out quarterfinals or the group stages and stuff like that, I'm just here for the chaos. That's all I'm here for. I'm just here to see the city burn. Like, I'll be real, because I want to know what is now your excuse. Like, are the FA gonna do what you said the other day on the stream about fundamental, like from the bottom up? Are we gonna finally actually start looking at it that way, or are we gonna be going top to bottom, trying to sort it out, and then hope that everything just filters through? These times, England under 21s do not play the same way that the England first team play. I've watched under 21s a lot, and then especially during that under-21s championship where Curtis Jones was playing DM and Angel Gomez, Cole Palmer was come off the bench and stuff like that, like all of that kind of stuff. I was like, right, this is how the under-21s play. When England come to play, it's completely different. So sometimes I'm like, how do you expect the same result? It's just not good. That's why Spain are so good and have been so good and were able to win the under-19s, the under-21s, and then win the Euros in consecutive, like, because their teams are all playing the same way. Forget the players. The players will always be the players at the end of the day, but the team is playing the same way, and they've had the same manager in terms of he's come through the ranks. So where he's been able, a bit like what you mentioned there, Jerry, in the back office about the team being together for so long, so the players know each other and they're doing X, Y, and Z. That's the same thing here at the top level. They're doing the same things. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I think it's just more about the style of play, and then take it from there. If you like it, great. Do you care? I don't think you should care, but listen, man, we'll wait and see, man. We'll wait and see. But guys, big up to your damn self. As I said, just didn't want to make it too long. We're at 1 hour on the dot. I hope you enjoyed the stream this morning. If you're watching this on the replay, please, as always, man, smash the like button. It really does help the channel. Guys, we are still en route to 2,000 subscribers. As I said, once we get to 2K, I will then start doing the membership. I've got quite a lot of the pre-recorded like membership videos. I'm just getting all of that ready for you guys so that as soon as it drops, then we can just go straight away. No waiting around. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the content that comes out on there. Jerry, I know you've answered this question 100 times, but I'm gonna ask you again. The people, they keep fucking DMing me. When are you back, my brother?
You know what? Yeah, let's have a look quickly at something. What am I on? All right, I'm currently on 2.2K. Yeah, because people unfollowed and all of that. If the people want me, I'm only going to do it if people are going to take in what I'm saying in it. Get your channel back once in a while. It's okay to be inconsistent too. I hear it. Cool. You know what? I'm someone that's consistent. So I would even drop one video a week. It might be pre-recorded, but I'll drop one video a week. I need to get to 3K though.
Guys, you heard what he said.
I'm not going to touch anything if people don't want to go and see it. I'm not like these other guys. Again, I like talking ball. It's easy to do it on G's channel. He does all the hard work. He does all the. I just come in, and when I can, I'm driving. I chat about it. It's comfortable. If you guys want me to be uncomfortable, make it work. Make it happen. Tyler, if you want me to come back, you know what I mean? Lead the brigade. Get me to 3K, and then we can sort something out. I'm telling you, if I do it, I'll do it properly. But I'm not going to come back to do something just here and there, and only a couple of you watch it. And Tyler might watch it, but Red for Life will air it. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to see that. So, look, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but fortunately for you guys, there's a lot of people doing what I was doing before. G's doing it, Ems is doing it. So if I'm going to do it, it's going to be completely different. It's going to be something different. But then again, there needs to be a demand for it, innit? So once the demand is there, then yeah, we're looking to starting up again. But I'm busy, guys. I'm really, really busy. So that's the problem, man. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem. But if you make it worth my while, if you show like, yeah, then I might. Like I said, I'll do it. I'll do one video a week.
Guys, heard it first, man. Get Jerry to 3K, guys. Get Jerry to 3K. As always, his link is in my bloody description. If you don't want to go read the whole description, fairs, go to my page. He's on my featured channel list as well. So always will be there, regardless of whether he keeps the channel, doesn't keep the channel. He'll stay there regardless. You guys already know. If it wasn't for Jerry, I wouldn't even have the intro, the original intro that we had, and it's still actually on my page. I think it's still on the chat. On my like when you go into like my homepage on my channel, that video, Jerry did that video. I didn't do the video, Jerry did it. So all the anime, Jerry did it. You gotta realize I learned from him. So guys, please get Jerry to 3K, and then Jerry will obviously start to come back. But of course, you can catch him here, you can catch him everywhere. Enz's channel, and yeah, wherever, man, wherever. But people, I will give you guys a heads up. Maybe today's Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Liverpool play Sunday, weekend. I don't want to be bothered. So, okay, Friday. Friday morning, 10:30 usual time. We'll do the Liverpool preview. I haven't spoken about Liverpool for time, like for so long. I almost started to forget. Like I forgot the other day. I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, Simicast, or oh yeah, like all these other players. I was starting to forget what they do and stuff. Like I was like, it's been good to kind of step away for a hot minute. So yeah, I'll be back Friday talking about this team that gives me stress for no fucking reason. So, of course, make sure you guys stay locked in. Big up Tyler Jones again for the super chat. Big up everybody who was in the chat today. Catch you Friday. Peace.